Hello, this is Mr. Buffington, and today we are going to be comparing numbers as decimals. So when we're given fractions, decimals, and percents, we can compare all of these, making them all into decimals, and that's what we're going to look at today. First of all, we want to make sure that we know how to compare numbers if they're written as decimals. To do that, we have to consider place values. When you have a number, a digit that is one decimal place or one place value to the right of the decimal, that's the tenths place. And that's larger than something that is, for example, 2 places to the right of the decimal. In this example, I have 1/10, 5/10, and this number here is 1/100th. These values that are in the tenths column are larger than this value that's here. Even if that was a 9, I just made it into a 9. Even if that was a 9, these ones are still larger because of their place value. Just like 100 is larger than 90 because of its place value. This is 1/10, the first one, 5/10, the second one. This is now 9/100. I'm going to leave it as a 9 just to demonstrate that the digit itself is not as important as the place value. This one here is 3/10 and 2/100. We would call that 32/100. And this one is 3/10. It's sometimes difficult to compare these unless we write them all out in a similar way. So I'm going to write them all out to 2 decimal places. And I think that will help when we're trying to compare them. Because you can see now quite clearly that this one is like 10, whereas this one here is like 9. When we see this 32, we might think that's larger than 3. And in this case, that's true because 32 is larger than 30. So we have to compare them in a way that they look similar. Now it would be easy for us to put them in order. 9/100, and then 10/100 or 1/10. Then we would have 0.30 or 30/100. 0.32 and 0.50. You might also note that in this list right here, I did not put the 0 in front. When it's a 0 on the left of the decimal, you can include it or not include it. That's up to you. It doesn't change the value of anything, but I'm going to add the 0 in there just to compare these numbers a little bit easier. There we go. In our next slide, we have some more numbers to compare. Again, I'm going to write them out, and in this time, I'm going to write them out to 3 decimal places just to make it very obvious and easy for me to compare them. We can compare them a little bit easier. All right, that would be 400, 800, 70, 1, and 410. But there is also something else we need to be careful of, and that is this number here. The number farthest to the left is the largest number. This is 2.001 or 2 1/1000th. So it is going to be the largest number because 2 is actually greater than 1. And all the other numbers you see here are 1. Now we can put them in order according to their decimal. Make sure I've got all the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I'm making lists like this, I like to do that just to make sure I haven't missed any. But there you go. And remember, again, you're comparing 70 to 400. And if we wanted to rewrite them out the way that they would appear at the end, you'd basically just get rid of all of the extra zeros to the left. So this would be 2.001, 1.8, 1.41, 1.4, and 1.07. Now what we need to do is go on to our next step, which is converting a fraction into a decimal. I like to tell people when I'm doing this that a fraction literally is division. If you've never thought about that before, let your mind be blown. A fraction literally is the division symbol. So what that means is that 1 over 4 means 1 divided by 4. You can solve this using long division, or you can use a calculator. I really don't care. Either way, you'll end up with 0.25 for this one. When we take 2 divided by 5, we will get 0.4. And when we do 3 divided by 7, you're going to get something really strange. 3 divided by 7 will give you 0.42857. Yeah, I did this one on my calculator. 429. Anyway, you see, that's how you make a fraction into a decimal. Now we're going to make percents into a decimal. A percent means out of 100 or divided by 100. So all we need to do for these ones is 75 divided by 100, 103 divided by 100, and 0.34 divided by 100. That will get us our new percent into a decimal. Now, we can also simply move the decimal place 2 places to the left. So 75 becomes 0.75. 103, the decimal would start there, and we can move it 2 places over. It would become 1.03. And this one here, the decimal starts there, so we would move it 1 place and then another place here, giving us 0.003. Oh, and I forgot about the 4 because of that line. 0.0034 is 0.34%. When you're converting a percent into decimal, you're shifting the decimal 2 places to the left, or in other words, dividing by 100. Now we're going to put all of this together. When we're asked to compare a list of numbers that has fractions, decimals, and percent, what we need to do is, or the easiest thing that I find to do, is to convert each number into a decimal, and then we can better compare them. There is all of our numbers as decimals. Now we can compare those numbers and order them. And what I've been doing is taking this order, or a list of numbers, and putting them in order from least to greatest. And before I do that, I am going to add a 0 here, so that we remember that's like 20, or 0.20, compared to the other ones. It's not 2, right, if we're just looking at the numbers. Well, okay. It looks like somebody might have planned that out. Silly Mr. Buffington. But there is our list of numbers in order from least to greatest. We're going to do that again with this in our final question. This one here you can see has some larger numbers. There's actually 2 decimals, which makes it kind of nice. But we're going to do exactly the same thing. The decimal is probably good. Yeah. So let's get rid of that number and add in that. Now everything has 3 digits on the left of the decimal, 4 digits in total. and we can compare them pretty easily. We start at the left, moving to the right when we compare. So don't forget, don't be so focused on the decimal that we miss out on this. That one's going to be the biggest number because it's a 2. Or 1 2/2. There we go. And that is how we convert numbers from fraction to decimal and from percent to decimal so that we can compare them all as decimals. I hope that tutoring session was helpful for you. Have a wonderful day.